you still had one of the best tweets I've seen in a long time. Earlier when you tweeted about the Flyers having 10-game winless streaks in the same season. That's up to 11 now. How long do they think they just ride this season out with Mike Yeo and they look to hire a coach in the offseason when there's more candidates available? Because it's clearly not working with him either.
What's the reason to, what's the push to do it now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. The Flyers are now dead last in the Metro.
No.
On points percentage and frankly on points too. They've played 7 more games than the New York Islanders and have the same number of points.
Yeah, it's been ugly for them. Like I think they've been the most disappointing team in the NHL. I didn't think that they would be dominant and win their division, but I thought they'd be a legit playoff contender and maybe even get into the playoffs. And they really haven't been close all year, Frank.
Yeah, I kind of saw them in that 4 or 5 spot in the Metro, somewhere competing in that range, 4, 5, 6, knocking on the door at least. A lot of ill-timed, or I don't think ill-timed is the proper phrase, poor decisions that were made. I mean, the Rasmus Ristolainen trade is really going to come back to haunt them. The assets that they gave up. I mean, they don't have their first round pick this year. The Ryan Ellis trade and the term that's left on that deal. The Atkinson for Voracek deal has been fine. I think a lot of people would say, look at the season Jake Voracek's having. Maybe you didn't make the right choice, but I think Cam Atkinson, and when you make that decision to add a little goal scoring punch instead of playmaking prowess, I'm never going to fault anyone for that. But I don't. They got the goaltending finally that they really wanted and needed. Carter Hart has not been the issue. The issue has been with the team. So the problem with the Flyers is I don't know where they go from here. There's no easy fix.
Well, yeah, I thought they would be much better defensively and overall. Claude Giroux. Now, I counted he can play 1,000 games with the Flyers before the NHL trade deadline. Do you think he waives it? And do you think there's an appetite for him to, like, other teams want to acquire him despite his major cap hit?
Well, I know there's teams that want to acquire him. That much I'm certain on. I think the bigger question is Claude Giroux ready to go? And I would think that 1,000 games kind of puts a really nice bow on what has been an underrated career in this market, at least. Claude Giroux is not, for whatever reason, fans in this market have clashed with Claude Giroux for a long time, mostly because since he was named captain, the Flyers haven't won a playoff series. And that's really ultimately what you're judged on here, where winning had been such an expectation for so long, given all the success that the Flyers have had in their franchise history. And the guys delivered. That's the thing. I mean, you look at it, 1, 2, 3 times Claude Giroux has been in the top 5 in Hart Trophy voting since he was named captain. I mean, how much more do you want from him? He's one of the leaders in points since he was named captain. He is the leader in the NHL in power play points, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask from the guy who competes every night. So what is exciting for me, if you're a team that wants to acquire him, is the idea that you can take all the pressure off. He's had this focal point, this focal pressure since he really became captain at a young age. And if you can take that pressure off and say, you can be a second line winger for us, well, all of a sudden, I just think he's going to be that much better than he already is.
Yeah. And just one quick one. The Flyers do have their first round pick this year. They gave up their first rounder last year for Ristolainen, the 14th overall pick. So
yeah, got it.
Just before all the Flyer fan text in, they're like, what? We don't have our pick. No. The Flyers do have their pick. And right now it's trending to be a top 10 pick. And who knows where the season ends. Maybe it'll be a top 5 by that point. But so
the problem is they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot else. No. Speaking of picks, there's not a lot coming in their pipeline that you can point to and say, oh, well, at least this part is exciting.